Hi, I'm Michael Bartlett, and I've been running for about 5 years now, and I'm training for a goal of a 135 half marathon in Myrtle Beach on October 17th.
Hi, my name is Jack Stevenson. I've been running for on and off about 20 years, but more seriously here in the last 4 to 5 years, and everything he just said, 135 Myrtle Beach in October. Looking forward to it.
Hi there, my name is Joel. I'm running the Georgina Marathon on October 17th with a goal of qualifying for Boston with a time of 3 hours, 20 minutes, and 10 seconds.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul. I'm a certified running coach, and this is episode number 10 of Chasing PRs. This series follows the runners on screen with me as they execute training plans that I've designed to help them reach their racing goals on October 17th, 2021. I'll be sharing running tips and advice to help everyone become a faster, stronger, and healthier runner. So please like, comment, subscribe, and ding that bell so that you get notifications whenever I post a new video. You can follow everyone on Strava. The links are all in the show notes below. Now, before we get into it, I want to talk a little bit about the central governor theory. That term was coined by the famous running coach, Dr. Tim Noakes. It describes the protective mechanism in our minds that pushes us to slow down or stop when actions are causing physical discomfort or stress. Now, it generally kicks in when we've reached about 40% of our body's physical exertion limit. It's done as a means of self-preservation by our mind. But well-trained athletes have a strong mental game and several tactics for overriding their central governor. I'm going to be detailing all of those tactics and all of the best means that are available to you as a runner in a video that I'm going to be releasing this coming weekend. So I encourage everyone to check that out. It will only make you a better runner when it comes to racing. So with that, let's talk about all the amazing moves that these three guys have made in the past 7 days to become better runners themselves. And I'm going to start off with Jack this week. Jack, you had two amazing workouts and a really, really impressive long run this past weekend. So please lead us through all of that.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. So, overall, very, very positive week. I guess, I'm always the one talking about the dew point and the humidity, but what amazing difference it makes once that breaks, as we can tell, especially running outside. And yes, beginning on Tuesday, we're still a little warm on that day. So I did do the stride workout on the treadmill at our local YMCA up the road. We did the 10 strides. I started about a mile in, ramped up. They started the first one at 10 miles an hour and then gradually ramped up 10.1, 10.2, 3, and so on until I hit 10. So I was able to steadily increase that one. That one felt great. And then the cool gods happened on Wednesday going into Thursday. And my friend Michael and I took a trip out to the track for the first track workout last Thursday, and did surprisingly. But look, I mean, it went well, better than I think I thought for particularly the first one. We did two by 800 meters, so two sets of 800 meters, a mile, and then another set of 2 by 800 meter intervals. And so overall, that felt good. We're able to maintain at or slightly below the intended pace for those 800 meters and mile. Kept the mile underneath the intended target. That obviously, once we got back to those last 800 meters, that's a little bit of fatigue started kicking in on that one a bit. So that one was a little bit slower. So if there's any other not negative, but like kind of outlier to this week's workouts would definitely been those last two 800 meters following the mile, because Michael and I both really pushed through those first two 800s and then mile. So he'll probably have I was with him, so he'll have a very similar story to me on that one. And then the 13-mile progression run on Saturday was I'll be completely honest with you. And Michael will attest, when we first started, I was like, man, I'm telling you, I'm not feeling it today. I think this is going to stink. But surprisingly, it did really well. And what I did this time, Paul, was try to be very intentional when in the beginning. So if this is going to be a progression run, let this be a true progression run. Let's give us somewhere to get to. So I did. I started off in the low nines, mid nines, low nines, and then gradually worked my way up per mile on that. And then I was glad to report that I successfully hit and maintained that race pace or half marathon race pace for those last 6 miles. And thank you again for the company on about 3 or 4 of those to get me over the finish line. So, felt great. And actually, even then, and I told Michael, I said, I felt great after that. I could have kept going if we needed to keep going. I didn't feel like I was, I was being forced to stop or anything like that. Definitely carrying the electrolytes and then the gel packs, they do help, particularly as you start racking up some of those miles. So again, overall, I thought it was a very productive week. And I run alongside Michael. I believe he'll attest. Very similar. He had a great week, and I know Joel, he'll talk, but I saw, looking on Strava there, he was racking up some miles. So I think overall, very, very happy with everybody, with our performance this week.
Yeah. And Jack, I just want to reiterate some of the things you said, as far as, I like the way you challenged yourself with your strides, getting faster progressively. I think your track day was stellar. I think trying to find a negative in the fact that the second set of 800s might have been a little bit slower, that's not a negative. That just means that you're out there and you're pushing your hardest. And, good for you. That's nothing but impressive. And, a note for, Joel kind of knows this because he's been doing track work for a number of weeks now, but as far as you and Michael go, treat your long runs and your track days as the stuff you're willing to go to the wall for, because that speed day in the short period of time that we have left before you guys start tapering is going to make a huge difference to your race performance over the next 3 weeks. It's going to, in a very short period of time, has the ability to raise up your VO2 max. And I know I've said this kind of thing before, but just to kind of reiterate and to kind of keep it fresh in your mind that those track workouts are hugely important to your success, and to making the race that much easier for you when you get there. Yep. So just to give you a thumbs up, sir.
Thank you.
Great week.
Thank you. Felt great.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad to hear it. And yeah, the fact that you finished so strong, running beside you that last like 3 or 4 miles of your long run on Saturday, there was a lot I was paying attention to there, and I was listening to your breathing very carefully. And dude, you were just so on it. Like you were in control there, hats off, and best of luck in the coming week, because it sounds like you're just getting stronger and stronger as each week goes by. So good for you.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, Michael, let's get into it, because you had just as good a week as Jack did. So I just can't wait to hear your perspective on it.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. So Jack and I pretty much had the exact same week. On Tuesday, we had 6 miles with 10 strides. I did do those on the treadmill. I didn't get quite as fast as Jack, but I usually don't. That's just not my thing. So I just sort of hit cruise on those, but they went well, felt good. Then we got to the track on Thursday. This is like my first time out there probably this year, since we did the last 5K time trial. So I was actually really nervous going into that because I haven't ran with that kind of speed in quite some time, you know, all year. So I didn't really know where my fitness was at. So I was, you know, you had those intended paces for us to hit, and I was like, you know, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And for everyone out there, I believe the 800 meter pace was 6:15 per mile, and then the mile pace was 6:35. So just sort of looking at my at that morning. So I ran the 800s. Definitely went out a little hot initially. The first 800, I was 6:02 pace, and then pretty much the same 6:03 pace. And then the mile went really well. I ran a 6:32, which was slightly under there, but that definitely did. That got the heart rate going, and I was definitely really tired after that. And I was like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to get through these two more 800s.
Yeah.
So, you know, pulled it back. The last two were definitely slower. It was, you know, around right around that target pace of 6:15. But, you know, I was a good bit, you know, 10 seconds probably per mile slower than the first ones, but it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. I mean, you know, be happy. You guys had a stellar day at the track.
Yeah, I actually thought it was really good. So, yeah, it was encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the long run, thank you again for coming down and keeping us company. That run was scheduled for 13 miles with 6 at race pace, the last 6. Like Jack said, we started out really slow. You know, I have to be very, very tuned in to what paces I'm running for those first few miles to be able to hit any kind of speed in the last few miles. So, you know, we're running 9:30s for the first 5 miles to keep what energy I have. And but it went well. You know, we got to the park, which is for the last, you know, for the speed part. And you know, I was right on target. I'll say I was just slightly slower than half marathon pace, but probably less than, you know, 2 or 3 seconds. So it wasn't bad.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I just want to reiterate, and this is true for both you and Jack, is that your paces when you're running at race pace was like, we're not talking about heat adjusted race pace that you're off of a little bit. You were running genuine race pace, the both of you. And man, that was not easy. You know, I mean, by the time we got to the park, which is where you guys take advantage of the flatter geography, by the time we got there, we were talking about like, it was probably like 65 degrees and the humidity was just starting to get pretty oppressive. And, you know, it was so encouraging for me as a coach, just to watch you guys go after the real paces and not just go after them, but hold them, you know. And it was like, even when I was running with Jack, it was kind of like, it was in the back of my mind, is Michael going to hold, and vice versa. And, you know, to see the times that, you know, your final times on Strava after the fact, I mean, it just shows you guys have the heart to hit race day. And I have 100% confidence in the both of you. It's going to be a pleasure. It's going to be nerve wracking just sitting there waiting for the posts to come in when I'm waiting for them, for all 3 of you guys on October 17th. But, you know, if I'm laying money down, I think we're going to go 3 for 3 with some new PRs here. I think you're all just doing everything you need to do to get the job done. So well done, Michael.
Yeah, so that, I mean, that run, I was really proud of it at the end. It turned out that I was able to hit a 10K PR at the end of it. So that
Which
was,
is amazing.
yeah, at the end of, that long run, which it wasn't a substantial PR, but it still was by a couple seconds. So,
Exactly.
I was really happy with it.
Yeah, and you should be. That's pretty amazing to go, build up 7 miles in the heat and then run a 10K PR at the end of it all. It's not half bad. Cool, sir. All right. Well, with that said, let's move on to Joel. He had a big week of training, a lot going on, and we'll talk more about what's coming up for Joel this coming week because he will be the first one amongst you all to time trial. But first, let's talk about the week past.
Sure. So Tuesday, track day. It was the big track day. So one 400-meter interval, two 800s, two 1600s, two 800s, and one 400.
Big ladder up and down.
Yeah. So everything went well. I was happy with the intervals. No problems. They were around this, not a big change in speed, but I think, or in time, but I think I am hitting some higher speeds, judging by Strava, for parts of it. So sort of coming together on the track.
Cool. Now, are you finding that you're picking up pace towards the end of those longer intervals, or is it kind of petering out?
Okay, let me just look at the graph right here. No, so each interval, each one, it's almost like a progression. So each interval, I'm faster at the end of the interval than at the beginning.
That's awesome. That's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, and the last 400 was faster than the first 400.
Love it.
So yeah,
love it.
So that looks good.
So your body is adapting to that longer stress, and it just proves you still got more in the tank by the time you get to the end of that workout.
Yeah, I think I do. It's just, and I'm getting more comfortable because I think that was my 7th track workout. Yeah. But there's still just a little nagging voice saying,
"Oh, dude, that never goes away. Don't worry about it." I just went to the track for the first time earlier today, and that was all over me. I was like, "Oh God, please, don't let this go south."
Yeah, because if you go just a bit too fast, you want to get through it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm pretty happy with it. The Wednesday is the 10 miler. It was cooler, I believe, and so you can see it in the, my average pace was 4:57 kilometers, which is pretty good. I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's real close to your race pace.
Yeah. Friday was the tempo run. So it was a 13K run with 6.5, 13K. Yeah. And then 6.5K tempo. And so on that run, I had my second fastest 5K of all time. And I think I've got 16,000 kilometers on Strava. I've got 1,300 runs. So that's a pretty good indicator.
Yeah, I'm not just blowing smoke. You guys are getting strong, like really, really strong. And that was a very visceral reaction from me on Saturday. Joel. To me, running with Michael and Jack on Saturday proved to me that my ability to study your guys' numbers and to genuinely know that you're getting stronger came through for me in a very visceral way on Saturday when I ran with these guys, because I was out there running beside them, trying to be encouraging, trying to get them to I went out there thinking I was going to have to work hard to get these guys to hold pace as it got hotter, and I wasn't more than a mile into the runs with either one of these guys, and it started to come across as, no, they're pulling me along. You know what I mean? I'm the guy who thought I was just going to go and have an easy day with these guys, and I was succumbing to the heat and the humidity, and these guys just were like running so strong. I was like, oh boy, I'm going to have to do a little work here to keep up. So, rock on. So yeah, Joel, I think your self-assessment is spot on. You're really strong in that 5K, second fastest 5K ever, in the midst of a training cycle. This just, I hope that means as much to you as it does to me hearing that, because it's doubtless you're strong as probably you ever have been as a runner.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're right. Like that's on sort of tired legs, not optimal conditions.
Exactly.
My first fastest 5K, I think, is probably 7 years ago, and it was a race. Yeah. So this was not this, so that it does mean a lot.
It means a lot, especially to you've got a time trial, a half marathon time trial coming up next Saturday. And I think you're going to get some good news from that.
Yeah, I hope so. And then, so Sunday was the distance was dialed way back, and it was meant to be kind of an aerobic run to prepare for this week, so it's almost like a little bit of rest before the time trial next Sunday.
Yeah, just enough distance to maintain the fitness level that you're at without letting it slip. Yeah, but also allowing you what you need to really kill next week.
Right. So it was a bit of a challenging course, and I ran with my running group, and I'm happy with the run. It worked out to be a pretty good progression run. And
a perfect progression run, actually. I studied that on Strava. It was beautiful.
It was, yeah. So I was happy with that, and it was cooler, but it was like muggy, like really muggy. So but that weather is definitely coming into an end. So this morning when I went out, it was cold, literally cold out.
Awesome.
So it's like a switch has flipped. It's funny how that seems to happen,
So I remember up when all the years that I lived up your way, more so than down here. I think you described it perfectly. There's kind of like there's a definite end of season for summer up your way, whereas here it just kind of lingers back and forth for a month or so.
Right. Yeah. So this week, this is looking good. Next Sunday, it is looking good. It's likely going to be cooler. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're going to kill. I just can't wait for that, for the news of that race to come across on Strava. So the only thing I would encourage you to do is heed the way I structured that day for you in that little box on your training plan. Do not be scared of running a couple of miles progressively faster as a warm-up. A lot of, far less experienced runners than you don't like to do mileage beforehand because they think it's going to tire them out on their race. It's the exact opposite. The more warmed up you are, then you can come out of the gate feeling fresh, feeling like you can race. So get those 2-3 miles in beforehand. And for the sake of not tightening up and having a bad day after, make sure you get your warm down in afterwards.
Yeah. So that should happen. My only concern is just making sure everything works out, because you had mentioned, I think last week, you don't want to wait any more than 5 minutes. So if I warm up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know what I'm going to do? I'll send a link to all you guys when we're offline. And in fact, I'll share it in the show notes, because even though it's not from my channel, the Run Experience channel on YouTube, which is a very, very big channel. It's just kind of, they're very well known. And they've got an absolutely wonderful video on the best way to warm up for 10Ks, half marathons, 5Ks. that I have used somewhat religiously for a couple of years now, and it never fails to produce good results for me. So I'll share that with you guys privately. And then when, by the time everybody who's watching this video sees it, you'll be able to find that same link in the show notes. That's how highly I think of this video, that I'm willing to promote somebody else's channel who's a mega monster of a channel, because they did a good job. So guys, I want to let everybody have an opportunity to get in any last thoughts about the coming week before we sign off. Anything?
Well, yeah, so after this week, really, yeah, I mean, I guess this is the same for all of us, but I've got two brutal weeks.
Yep.
Brutal weeks. And then 2 weeks where, you know, there's 3 weeks really where there's a taper. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I am, the fatigue is definitely there. You know, it's creeping in there. I skipped a couple of one of the easy days. I was just exhausted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's understandable.
So, yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to the next few weeks.
Cool. And just to reiterate, not so much for the sake of you guys, but for those people who are watching who may not be so new to marathon or half marathon training, the reason why I am hammering these guys over the next couple of weeks is because this is the last window of opportunity to push up their fitness with enough time left after those weeks of pushing them hard that they will see the benefits of that hard work on race day. Once you get in within a 3-week window of race day, there is no point in trying to gain fitness. There's not enough time for your body to physiologically make those adaptations. Once you're within 2 weeks for a half marathon or 3 weeks for a marathon, your only goal should be to maintain the fitness level you have. You go out there and try to kill yourself a few days before a big race, the only thing you're doing is taking away your ability to run your race well. Right. So guys, keep that in mind. And again, guys, thank you for a wonderful week of running. You're making me look good out there. So I appreciate it. And with that, I just want to say, get healthy, stay strong, keep pushing. Peace out, everybody. We'll catch you next week with some more amazing running.